All right, so you're getting ready for this digital marketing manager interview, and you really want to nail it. Luckily, we've got a whole bunch of resources here from RoleCatcher that give us career guides, sample interview questions, even some details about how their whole AI platform works. So think of this deep dive as like your secret weapon, okay, to give you that extra edge.
You know what I think is really interesting about RoleCatcher is it's not just like generic advice, right? They really try to give you that tailored approach so you can really understand what those interviewers are actually looking for
Mhm.
and how you can be the best possible candidate.
Okay, so before we get to the questions, let's just like quickly paint a picture of what this role even is. RoleCatcher says it's shaping the company's entire digital landscape.
Wow, that sounds pretty important.
It does, right?
Yeah, it really is about kind of strategizing across all those different digital channels. So you think about like social media,
Yeah.
SEO, email marketing, all that stuff. So you're not just like managing those campaigns, you're really shaping their whole online presence and driving business goals.
And RoleCatcher mentions that this role is in a constantly evolving field. What does that even mean for someone applying for the job?
It means that you got to show them that you are adaptable, that you're always learning. Interviewers want to see that you're passionate, that you're ahead of the curve, and you're not afraid to try those new technologies.
Okay, so let's dive into these questions. RoleCatcher has all these examples and insights, and they try to uncover what the question is really asking.
Okay, so the first one is a classic. Describe your experience managing digital marketing campaigns. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, but it's really your time to shine, to show them that strategic thinking.
So it's not just like rattling off campaigns from the past, right? What would a really good answer sound like?
You want to focus on how your work connected to the bigger business goals. Did you increase brand awareness, drive traffic, generate leads? Use those data points and examples to show the impact that you made.
I bet they'd ask follow-up questions like, oh, tell me about a time a campaign totally flopped.
Oh yeah, for sure they would. So be ready to talk about those challenges. And how you turn them into learning opportunities shows them you're resilient and that you're always trying to improve.
Okay, so the next one. What is your experience with SEO? And how do you stay up to date with the latest trends? This seems like a good time to show that you're always learning.
It is. It is. Mention those resources that you follow. Blogs, podcasts, courses. But even more importantly, how have you applied that knowledge? Have you like implemented any new SEO tactic? Found a tool that really worked? Make it tangible.
And what about follow-ups there? What's the biggest SEO challenge you've faced recently, and how'd you deal with it?
You got it. They're looking for problem-solving skills, a deep understanding of how SEO actually works, so have that anecdote ready.
Question number 3. How do you measure the success of a digital marketing campaign? Time for all that analytic stuff.
It is, but remember, it's not about just listing off metrics. You got to tie those metrics back to the goals of the campaign. So were you trying to increase awareness, drive sales? Choose those metrics that show you achieve those objectives.
So if the goal was lead generation, I would talk about like conversion rates, cost per lead, not just like overall website traffic.
Exactly. You want to show them that you get it. You know which levers to pull.
And they might ask follow-up questions like, what tools do you use to track these things?
For sure. So be ready to talk about your analytics platforms and how you use them to make decisions.
Okay, let's talk about social media. The next question is, what is your experience with paid advertising on social media platforms? That seems like where you really get to show off those targeting skills.
Absolutely. It's showing that you understand those audiences. Ad campaign optimization, all those little nuances of each platform. You know, have you mastered Facebook's lookalike audiences? Or LinkedIn's targeting options? Share all those details.
And I bet they'd ask about budget management and how you figure out ROI on those social campaigns.
Definitely. So be ready to talk about A/B testing, bid optimization. Show them the value of your ad spend.
Okay, so let's keep going here with email marketing. The question is, what is your experience with email marketing campaigns? Everyone's inbox is like overflowing these days. What makes something stand out?
Well, this is where you show them you understand segmentation and personalization. They want to know if you can make those emails that actually work. And stay out of that spam folder.
So it's not just blasting out the same message to everyone.
Nope. You got to tailor it to specific users' demographics, all those buyer personas, you know.
And I'm already thinking about the follow-up. Tell me about a time you totally revamped an email campaign. What did you do?
So they want those concrete examples.
Yeah.
You know, have you tried A/B testing subject lines? Personalize the content. Share the details.
Okay, on to a question about juggling all those responsibilities. How do you prioritize and manage multiple digital marketing projects at the same time? I mean, we've all got like a million tabs open. How do you prove you can handle it?
It's all about those organizational skills, staying focused when things get crazy.
So just saying I make a to-do list probably isn't going to cut it.
Probably not. You want to talk about those specific project management systems that you've used, like Agile or Scrum, highlight tools like Asana or Trello, right, to stay organized. And don't forget to emphasize communication skills. Keeping everyone on the same page is key.
And I imagine they'd want to know how you deal with like
Yeah.
roadblocks, priorities changing all the
Oh,
time.
for sure. You got to show them you can adapt, figure out what's most important, and keep those projects moving.
Okay, we're doing good. Let's go to question number 7. How do you stay current with the latest digital marketing trends and best practices?
So this question comes up a lot. Because things change so fast in digital marketing, this is your time to go beyond the basics. Talk about thought leaders that you follow, conferences you've been to, maybe like niche communities online, where you're really discussing those trends.
Where you're going deep,
Yeah.
getting those different perspectives.
And connect that learning to what you're actually doing.
All right, let's try a more strategic question. How do you approach creating a digital marketing strategy for a totally new product or service? This feels like they're looking for someone who can see the big picture.
They are. They want to see that you can take that product and come up with a whole plan to launch it online.
So where do you even begin?
Start with your research process. How would you find out about that target audience, the competition, current trends?
Understanding those things is super important. So you can make a strategy that actually works. And I bet they'd want to know how you set goals and KPIs.
Of course. Show them you can connect those marketing activities to measurable outcomes. And don't be afraid to get creative. How would you make that new product stand out?
Okay, we're on the last question from this set. And it's a big one. How do you measure the ROI of a digital marketing campaign? That feels like the big test, right?
It is. It's all about showing those analytical skills and proving that you can connect marketing to results.
How do you really nail this one?
Focus on the things that really matter to the business. How do you track conversions? Customer lifetime value? How much money are your campaigns bringing in? Be ready to talk about the tools and methods you use.
That's a lot.
It is. But if you practice, you can show them you're an expert.
Okay, so we just went through 9 common questions. But how do you really make your prep stand out? That's where RoleCatcher's AI platform comes in.
Yeah, it's not just about knowing the answers. It's about tailoring them to that specific role and company. And that's what RoleCatcher does.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me about how it helps you personalize everything.
Think of it like having a digital marketing expert, like right there with you. You upload the job description, and the AI looks at it, figures out the skills and keywords that they're looking for.
So you're not just using the same resume and cover letter for everything.
No way. You're tailoring it, so you're speaking their language.
Got it. But it's more than just resumes and cover letters, right?
Oh, yeah. RoleCatcher can help you come up with those awesome answers to those tough questions.
Wait, so it's like a personal interview coach. How does that work?
You can pick from their list of practice questions, or you can add your own based on the job. And then you write your answers, and the AI gives you feedback, tells you how to make them even better.
So you go into the interview knowing you're totally prepped. That's pretty cool.
It is. It gives you a real advantage.
Okay, before we finish up part 1, let's look at the big picture. Like, what does a digital marketing career path look like? RoleCatcher gives us a map of all the different stages, from assistant to manager.
And what's cool is they give you real-world examples of what someone at each level might say about themselves.
Give me an example. What would a digital marketing specialist say? And that's like the step before manager, right?
Right. So they'd probably talk about how they've created and run digital marketing strategies across all those different channels. They'd mention they're good at social media, SEO,
Right.
email marketing, and data analysis.
So they're in there getting things done.
Exactly. Getting that experience, showing they can handle more and more.
So thinking about your own career, where do you see yourself? What are your goals?
That's something to think about as we go into part 2. We'll look at those questions again and give even more advice on how to answer them.
Sounds good. Stay tuned for part 2. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
Get you ready to crush that interview.
Okay, so let's jump back into those interview questions. But this time we'll look at how they kind of like cluster around certain skills, that hiring managers are looking for. For example, a lot of those questions are really trying to figure out how good you are with analytics.
Okay, so it's not just about like memorizing the right words. It's about understanding like the skills behind them.
Right, exactly. When they ask you about SEO or analytics or measuring ROI, they want to know how you think about data.
So how can someone really show off those skills in an interview?
Focus on the numbers. Back up your decisions with data and show them, those analytics tools. Like if they asked about a successful campaign, don't just describe it. Tell them about the data that proved it worked.
I like that. It's not just what you did, but like proving it.
Exactly. Okay, now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about strategic thinking. Questions about managing projects, creating a strategy for a new product, or just adapting to change in general. That's all about strategy.
So how do you show them you're a strategic thinker?
You got to show them you can plan, prioritize, and see the big picture. Like if they ask about handling a bunch of projects at once, talk about how you decide what's urgent, how you stay aligned with those business goals, and how you stay organized.
So it's about being proactive, not just reactive.
Right. Okay, now let's think about communication and collaboration. Questions about teamwork, difficult situations, presenting your ideas. All of that falls under this umbrella.
So how do you impress them with your communication skills?
Be clear, be a good listener, and be a team player. If they asked about a time you faced a challenge, talk about how you talked to your team, got their input, and worked together to find a solution.
So it's all about working well with others.
Yep. Your team, clients, stakeholders, everyone. Okay, so let's bring back RoleCatcher's AI platform for a sec. It can really help you tailor your answers to these different skills. Remember, it's not just about general knowledge. It's about showing the specific skills they want for this job.
Okay, so how does it do that?
It looks at the job description and picks out the key skills they're looking for. Then when you're practicing your answers, the AI gives you feedback, tells you how to really highlight those skills.
So if the job description emphasizes analytics, RoleCatcher will tell me to use data and numbers in my answers.
Exactly. It's like having a personal coach who knows exactly what this job needs.
That's really helpful.
Okay, so let's go back to that first question. Describe your experience managing digital marketing campaigns. Remember, this is your chance to show strategic thinking and analytical skills.
Right, so it's not just listening campaigns. What kind of details should I include?
Let's talk about the strategy behind each campaign. Did you do market research? Figure out your target audience. Create a plan with goals and KPIs.
And then I should use data to back up my decisions.
Yeah. Did you use A/B testing to optimize stuff? Did you look at website traffic to see what needed to be improved? Show them the number and how your strategy led to success.
Okay, I'm seeing how those skill clusters work together.
Right. Now let's look at that question about SEO and staying up to date. This is about showing them you're always learning and that you have an analytical approach to SEO.
So it's not just saying I read blogs. What else can I do?
Talk about times when you actually learned something new and used it. Did you find a cool new keyword research tool? Did you try a new link building strategy? Give them examples of how you turned learning into results.
And I bet they'll ask follow-up questions to really test me.
Yeah.
Like, what's the toughest SEO project you've worked on?
Yeah, they want to hear a specific story. So have one ready. Talk about the challenges, the tools you used, and how you succeeded.
Okay, I'm feeling more ready already. Let's move on to that question about measuring campaign success. This one seems all about analytics.
It is. It's your chance to show that you understand the key metrics and how they connect to the goals of the campaign.
So like if the goal was brand awareness, I talk about social media engagement, website traffic, stuff like that.
Exactly. And if it was lead generation, you talk about conversion rates, cost per lead, how many good leads you got.
So it's about knowing which metrics matter for each campaign and using them to make smart decisions.
Right. And be ready to talk about the tools you use. Google Analytics, social media platforms, all that. Show them you're comfortable working with data.
Okay, what about that question on paid social media advertising? Seems like a mix of analytics and strategy.
Yeah, you got it. It's about reaching the right people with the right message and then proving that it worked.
So I should talk about different ad platforms, my approach to targeting, and how I use data to optimize campaigns.
Yep. And be ready to talk about budgets, how you allocate resources, how you measure ROI, and make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck.
Okay, let's move on to email marketing. This seems like it's about communication, but also analytics and user behavior.
It is. You got to write good emails that people actually want to read, and then track how they perform to make them even better.
So I should talk about email platforms, segmentation, personalization, A/B testing, all that.
Yes. And don't forget about the metrics. Open rates, click-through rates, conversions. How do you track success? And what have you done to improve those numbers?
Okay, let's talk about prioritizing and managing multiple projects. This one seems like organization, time management, communication.
You got it. This is where you show them you can handle a lot of things at once, stay organized, and keep things moving.
Should I mention specific project management methods?
Oh, yeah. Agile, Scrum, whatever you've used. Talk about tools like Asana or Trello. And really emphasize your communication skills.
Because everyone needs to be on the same page.
Right. And be ready to talk about how you handle problems, changing priorities, all that.
Okay, bring on the next one. What about staying current with digital marketing trends? This one's all about showing you're passionate about learning.
It is, but it's also about being proactive. Don't just mention blogs and podcasts. Talk about thought leaders. You follow conferences, you've attended online communities.
So show them you're really engaged.
Yeah, and give specific examples like, did you learn a new strategy at a conference? Or read an article about a cool new SEO technique and actually use it. Show them you're not just reading stuff, you're doing stuff.
Okay, let's try that strategic question about creating a strategy for a new product. This one feels like big picture thinking.
It is. They want to see that you can take a product and launch it online. You got to understand the audience, the competition, the message.
So should I talk about my research process?
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
How would you gather information about the audience, the competition, the market? What tools would you use?
Once I've done that research, I'd need to set goals and KPIs.
Right. What are you trying to achieve? Brand awareness leads sales. Be specific about your goals and how you'll measure success.
And then I'd choose the right channels and tactics.
Exactly. Organic social media, paid advertising, content marketing, email. What would you use and why? Be ready to explain your choices.
Okay, I'm getting it. It's about strategy, data-driven decisions, and aligning with the business goals.
You got it. And don't forget to be creative. What would you do to make this product stand out?
Okay, last one. That question about measuring ROI feels like the big test.
It is. But it's not just about tracking numbers. It's about connecting those numbers to real business results.
Should I talk about the tools I use?
Yeah. But go beyond that. Explain how you use them to gather data, spot trends, find areas to improve.
And then connect those insights to the big goals.
Right. Did your campaign drive traffic, generate leads, increase sales? Show them the numbers and how your work made a difference.
Okay, I'm feeling better about this one. It's about showing I can analyze data and prove my value.
Exactly. They want someone who understands digital marketing, but also has that strategic mindset and business sense.
Okay, we covered a lot in part 2. Any last thoughts for our listeners?
Remember, prepping for an interview is about showing your passion and your skills. Use the tools and resources you have, like RoleCatcher, and go in there feeling confident and ready to impress.
All right, so we've talked about all those tough interview questions and how to show off your skills and experience. But what about those personal qualities, the things that make you stand out as a candidate?
Well, RoleCatcher talks about this a lot in their career guide. It's not just about the technical stuff. It's about who you are as a leader and a teammate.
So what kind of qualities are we talking about here?
Communication is huge. You're going to be working with so many people, explaining things to stakeholders, presenting strategies. You got to be clear and compelling.
So it's not just about talking, but also listening.
Exactly. Active listening is so important for this role. You need to really get what your client, your team, and the market are saying.
And that kind of ties into being adaptable and open to feedback, right? Because things change so fast in digital marketing.
Oh, yeah, all the time. You have to be able to change your plans and be open to new ideas.
And not be afraid to learn and grow.
Right. Don't be afraid to talk about a time when you got some tough feedback. And use it to get better.
What about problem-solving skills? Those seem pretty important for this role.
Oh, definitely. They want to see that you can stay calm when things get tough. Can you break down those complex problems? Think outside the box to find solutions. And stay cool under pressure.
Because things don't always go perfectly in digital marketing.
Nope, definitely not. You need to be resilient. They want to know that you can handle setbacks, learn from mistakes, and keep going.
So we've got communication listening, adaptability, problem-solving, resilience. That's a lot.
It is, but there's one more that I think is super important.
Okay, what is it?
Passion. When you're genuinely excited about digital marketing, it shows. It energizes everyone around you.
So let that passion come through in your interview.
Yeah.
Talk about what excites you about digital marketing. Share some projects you're really proud of.
Exactly. Show them that you're not just there for a job. You want to make a real impact.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into digital marketing interviews, what are the big things our listeners should remember?
Preparation is key. Understand the role, research the company, practice your answers.
And use those tools and resources like RoleCatcher to make sure you're putting your best foot forward.
And don't forget to show off those personal qualities: communication, adaptability, problem-solving, resilience, passion. Those are the things that will make you stand out.
One last thought for you all as you keep learning and growing. In a world full of data and digital noise, how will you cut through all that and connect with your audience? Something to think about as you go into that interview and beyond.
Good luck, everyone.